Hello everyone. This is a little video that I actually stumbled across something that was a great benefit to me, and I want to pass it along to everyone. Um, I actually have a Dynam 450 e-razor that I got from XLE about a year and a half ago actually, and I have been having constant problems with the gear, the drive gear that actually goes on the motor, which drives the main belt gear for the helicopter. This is actually the main shaft gear, and the top gear is the belt gear that drives the tail rotor. Um, I follow all the directions and everything as far as adjustments and making sure everything's right. Um, I actually use the receipt paper in between the gear and the other gear so that I have the proper clearance. So I know it's not lined up. Something's not right. Everything's right. Everything's put together right. But yet, after and this is a gear that actually this is only after probably maybe 6 flights. And this is not running it on the stunt mode. It's actually a normal flight, and um, I keep it at about 60%, 70% sometimes on the throttle. So I know it's not something that I'm doing as far as flying. These gears, I don't know. I guess it's probably what they're made of, because these Teflon gears that are made out of plastic, they actually hold up pretty good. These won't start tearing up until your gear on your engine, on your motor rather, looks like this. Then it'll just chew up that main gear. Then you have to wind up replacing both this gear and the pinion shaft gear, um, which can be costly. Actually, you got to tear your helicopter apart usually to do it. But I have found that on the Dynam 450, you don't have to take the main frame apart to replace this gear. The main shaft will slide out. Let me get it for you. Okay, here is the Dynam 450, and the main shaft, if you undo the bottom Allen heads there on the main shaft on the bottom and take out the main shaft for the main gear on the main shaft right there. You take off that screw and the top one and disconnect your linkage and everything, and the top bolt. Everything will slide right out. The top rotor slides right off the main shaft. The main shaft will pull right out of the helicopter, and you'll be able to get that gear out without having to actually disassemble the whole helicopter, which makes it pretty good. Um, so the problem is about every six. When I order these gears, I was ordering them probably 2, 3 at a time. So I know I would have extras, and I would change this gear when it started to show wear, and that was usually after probably about five, maybe 6 flights, 7 if you're lucky. These gears aren't that much money, but it's a hassle when you got to keep changing them. So what I found, this is actually a new gear for the Dynam. You can see it's got kind of a slope to the gear itself, and there's just a certain amount of the gear that actually meets the drive shaft for the main shaft for the gear. You only have so much clearance. Um, it's an 11 tooth gear, and I have found that the T-Rex 450 11 teeth or 11 tooth gear. Now this is sitting side by side. The one on the left is the T-Rex, and the one on the right is for the Dynam. Um, I lined them up. The shafts are the same, the diameter inside. You can see that the T-Rex gear is actually longer, which gives you more, actually more, I'm just trying to look for the word trying to use here. It gives you more space to work with on this gear. And there's no sloping to it. It's straight. As you can see, the difference between the two. Trying to keep it from getting blurry so you can get a good look. There you go. Now I can see that pretty good now. You can see the difference between the two gears. Plus, the Dynam is just a solid core piece of metal milled into a gear, whereas the T-Rex is almost the same thing. It's solid there, but if you turn it over on the other side, the part that slips onto the shaft, you can see that it's got a shimmed sleeve inside, and this fits perfectly on the shaft of the Dynam 450 motor. It goes right on, lines up. Actually, it goes on upside down like this. No, I'm sorry, it goes down. Let me look at this one. Okay, yeah, I got the gear running down on the motor shaft on the pinion gear. It's actually this way, but after I got it all back together, as you can see, got the motor in there. There's the new gear from the T-Rex. It lines up perfectly with my main shaft gear, drive gear. When I took it out for a test flight, it was really good. I was so satisfied with this gear. And then after the flight, I inspected the teeth on the gear itself, and it really didn't show any signs of wear at all. I don't know if it's what. I don't know what. I mean, I even ordered these from Dynam in China, thinking maybe they might have a better grade or something. I don't know, but as you can see, this is a G2 Raptor, Walkera G2 Raptor, actually an Exceed from XLE. And this gear, there's no, you can't replace the gear. When the gear goes bad, you have to replace the motor. There's no Allen head screw on here, nowhere. It's just all one piece, which I kind of thought was an inconvenience. I mean, that could get costly if you have to buy a motor every time the gear goes bad. But there's a flip side to this. This little gear, this motor has lasted so long. This gear has never worn out. And I'm kind of thinking that I might get the same results from this T-Rex gear. And I'm kind of thinking that's the way it's going to go, because after the first flight, this gear did not show any wear at all. It still looked like it was brand new. Whereas the Dynam gear, on the other hand, would have shown some wear, and this is just terrible. I've been working on these for quite some time. I do know what I'm doing, and I've seen several videos. Tony has one out there, especially the one where he's building the EXI 450 kit, when he demonstrates how you use the receipt paper as a spacer between the pinion gear and the main shaft gear. You don't want to really, you want to push pressure on it, but you want to keep your you don't want to push on the motor when you're tightening this up. You want to put the pressure on the pinion gear itself against this gear with the receipt paper between it and tighten it up real good, making sure that this doesn't move when you're tightening it. Just what I do is I just keep my finger against it with pressure, and I tighten them two screws while I do it. And then once I get it tight, um, I rotate the gears, and the receipt paper just threads right out. And it gives you the perfect gap. Um, this helps reduce a lot of wear on these gears. Um, but after saying that, and after that being said, you can see that I don't know what's up with excuse me, I don't know what's up with Dynam's gears, but I think they're just junk. There's no way that should do that, and this is not the first gear. Um, this is actually, here's one that I had on there. Now this is just after a couple flights, guys. You can see, well, if it won't be so blurry, you can see how it's wearing. Uh, I guess it's just soft metal or something. I don't know, but I would not recommend. I would not recommend buying a Dynam pinion gear. You're just gonna. Excuse me, guys. You're just gonna have to keep replacing them, and if you don't catch it in time, it'll chew up this gear, which requires more cost. So what I would recommend is, now I looked on XLA's website. I even checked out Hobby Parts, Nitroplanes. None of the guys, I don't think, sell these. I actually found this on eBay. You can get 3 of these T-Rex 450 pinion gears for under $1.50, and that included shipping, guys. That is a really good deal for an excellent gear. I was so impressed with this, especially the shimming, how they've got the shaft. Uh, this is more of a precision gear than the Dynam, in my opinion. It's a lot better quality, and you get 3 of these for the price of, like I said, less than $1.50, and there's no shipping charge. But there is one downside to that. It took a good month to get these. I actually thought I wasn't going to get them, but then they finally showed up. I guess that's probably why they do free shipping at $1, less than $1.50 for 3 of these. But you know what? For 30 days, for $1.50, it's worth it. You may want to. I'm thinking the quality of these, if you order 3 of them for, I think that'll probably do you for quite some time. You may want to order another batch of them, maybe get 2 orders, which would give you a total of 6 of these, but I don't think that's necessary. I think if you watch the gap and make sure that, you have to keep in mind when these gears wear, the gap changes. The gap will change on the main shaft gear and the pinion gear. You have to sometimes get your receipt paper back out, loosen your motor back up, and reset the gapping, because it will change. Especially when this gear wears, the gap will change. So just that's a little information that I wanted to pass along to everybody. The Dynam 450 is actually a really, really nice helicopter. It's, I think, right at around $200 from XLE. I haven't had really any problems with this other than this gear. The helicopter's been very durable, reliable. It's very responsive. It flies really good. I've noticed a few things on XLA, reading comments from other people on Facebook, that they talk about these weights for the fly bar. Some ask, should I leave them out or should I bring them in? But here's an easy answer to that. If these weights are out here on the end, the helicopter's more stable. When you move the weights in or take them off completely, the helicopter's more responsive. It'll actually respond quicker to your commands with the transmitter. So I prefer to leave them in, um, simply because I like it more responsive. You know, the better you get with these, when you're first learning with the 6 channel, when you first start out, leave the weights on and leave them out here on the outer end by the paddles. You'll find that you'll have a little bit better stability controlling your helicopter. Now, when this changes, when you start getting a lot better, then you can move these weights in or take them off completely, because you'll be a better pilot and you'll want the quicker response. Yeah, I think the T-Rex gear is a great upgrade to the Dynam 450. As well as I've made videos before commenting on my rotor head setup. I've got an EXI rotor head. This works better than the Dynam's one. It's a lot better. It's almost like a T-Rex clone. You can find these on XLA's website. They're not that much money neither, guys. And another thing, I did not have to do a thing to this to use the XI rotor head. The only thing that I did was I kept the Dynam swash plate, and I just disconnected the swash plate, the EXI swash plate from the rotor head, and attached the rotor head from the EXI to the Dynam swash plate, and it fit right on. It bolted right up. All the linkage, nothing changed. It was like it was made for it. So this was really great upgrade. I got the carbon fiber paddles and blades. This helicopter's pretty much Dynam, but it's almost half it's almost half EXI and Dynam. It's the cheaper version of the T-Rex. Anyway, I got my lights on there from Hobby Parts, which I love. I go out at nighttime, and I get a lot of people that like to stop and watch it, and I don't care. I like to put on a show for people. What the heck? Anyways, that's it, guys. I hope this information helps you out, and if you have any questions, just post a comment or whatever, and I'll try to help you out. All right, thanks. Have a good one.